So let me see the definition of an anti-hero. Noun, anti-hero. Definition 1. A central character in a drama who lacks conventional heroic attributes. With the age of the anti-hero, baddies and goodies become less distinguishable from one another. Noun, definition 2. A movie character who kidnaps, rapes, and kills other characters in the first film and has to come to be the hero to save someone else in the sequel. See Don't Breathe 2. Wait, what? So yeah, YouTube, after reading those definitions, Don't Breathe 2 was an interesting concept. And when I saw the Red Band trailer, it really intrigued me. So why don't you check out my trailer reaction that I recorded and posted. I'll put it below, and I'll put a link at the end of this video so you can watch that. So let me try to review Don't Breathe 2 with minimal spoilers. Before we do that, please go ahead and just do all the normal YouTube stuff, please. You know, like the video, thumbs up or thumbs down, give me feedback, subscribe to the channel, and if you've already subscribed, don't forget to hit the notification bell. You'll be the first to know when I post new reviews. So let's talk Don't Breathe 2. Let's go. So hey YouTube, I'm here to review the latest horror flick to hit your local theaters, Don't Breathe Part 2, or just Don't Breathe 2. I was lucky enough to see it this past weekend in my local theater, and I wanted to go ahead and share my thoughts with you soon after. Don't Breathe 2 stars Stephen Lang, Madelyn Grace, Brendan Sexton III, and Stephanie Arcila. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. The film was written by Fede Alvarez and was directed by Rodo Sayagues. I'm murdering these names, but I apologize. I, for one, was a super fan of the first Don't Breathe movie. I loved Jane Levy in it, and I, for one, was really hoping that maybe they would try to continue the story from the first one, or at least reference that story, because, you know, it ended and it was kind of open-ended at the very end of the film. Sadly, we didn't get that, though, this time around, and the only returning character from that first film is the blind man. If you didn't know it, his name was Norman. I didn't remember that even after watching it. I always just refer to him as the blind man. Well, I don't want to give away too many spoilers from the new movie, so I'm going to dance around some concepts and scenes, but it's nothing that you haven't already seen in the trailer if you've watched that. So seeing that the blind man was going to be the main character in this sequel worried me a lot after seeing that last Red Band trailer that I watched. How could such a big pile of human garbage become the main character of this sequel? And how could the creators of this new movie expect us to root for him to help out this young, quote-unquote, daughter of his? I'm not really going to say any more about that because I don't want to spoil it right now. Well, I would say that they were very creative with the story this time around, and they were very careful not to change the personality of the blind man himself. He's still basically exactly the same. He's still that loner at heart who's always seems to be searching for inner peace from all of that heartache and tragedy that's filled his life up until this point. So Stephen Lang once again plays this role to perfection. The actor is no stranger to playing creepy, slimy personalities, if you ask me. Do you guys remember that he was the reporter Freddy from the 80s classic Manhunter? He was really on fire in that one, right? Yeah, pun intended. Well, the blind man's life is once again turned upside down when we see some real bad guys try to take his daughter away from him. The thought of losing another person like her that's really close to him sends him into a rage again and leads him to hunt down these lowlives like a dog. Pun intended there as well. When you see the film, you'll know what I mean. They got some really good use of canines in this movie, let's just say. So how do you get to the point where you're going to root for the blind man, you might ask? Well, you don't actually, if you ask me. To me, the main character of this movie is not the blind man at all. The main character is actually the little girl who he watches over, and her name is Phoenix. Phoenix is the one you're going to root for in this movie, if no one else. As you discover throughout the film, her life is filled with just as much tragedy and sadness as the blind man's at this point. It's also like they were meant to be together, almost like a family. You root for her to survive throughout this entire film, and you hope that she finds a better situation in life for herself at the end. Once they introduce the actual bad guys in this story, you do hope that the blind man will help her overcome these people.
It's not me you need to be scared of, little girl, but the man standing next to you. Now, I don't know who he is, but I know who he's not. Should I tell her or you?
Because they're actually bigger pieces of shit than he ever was in the first movie. And if you don't believe me, you really just need to see some of the things that they've done in their past lives that they talk about in this movie, along with what they're actually willing to do once they get their hands on the little girl. Wow, these are some really bad people here. Speaking of these main villains, there's some real winners, like I said here. The main bad guy looks and acts as if he's like Dean Ambrose from the WWE, or John Moxley if you're an AEW fan. For some reason, he just connected to me in that way. Maybe it's the way he looked, and maybe it's his nonchalant attitude and his line delivery. Like I said, they do look alike, and he just reminds me of Dean Ambrose / John Moxley a lot. I do like that Fede Alvarez was able to write a story this time with a couple of plot twists, but he didn't get overcomplicated with the plot. And there's also some really good gore moments during a lot of the fight scenes. I love the inventive ways that they came up with the blind man to use his disability to his advantage again. I do have a couple minor complaints, so let's go ahead and talk about that. Too much of that last act that I just talked about with the gore, you see a lot of that in the trailer. The film obviously does expand on those moments, so you get more. Like the gore, you don't see that as much in the trailer. But they're just not as many big surprises or action moments that I was expecting, because I saw a lot of them in the trailer. So come on, man, like less is more next time around, please. One of the major plot points at the end was also very unrealistic. Unless maybe you consider the fact that their master plan was thought of by a bunch of meth heads, and because it would make a little sense to someone like that. But I really wasn't buying it, the reason that they were trying to kidnap the girl to begin with. But at least it did lead to this good final act that I keep mentioning. I also like the character of Hernandez. It was played by Stephanie Arcila. She could have been maybe considered like the surrogate mother that Phoenix never had, or doesn't have in this movie, let's just say. I wish they had done a lot more with her character. I really like the actress, and I feel that her character's background could have been utilized a little more in the story. It could have expanded her role, made it a lot bigger. Maybe she could have brought more out in the blind man, made him see the error of his ways more. She did try to be the conscience that he doesn't have, and tried to relay when she felt that he was treating the girl wrong, the little girl Phoenix. I can't say too much more about that without spoiling much more, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So let's go ahead and wrap up this review by saying, obviously, as you can tell, I really like Don't Breathe 2 a lot. It is a very worthwhile sequel to the original. It doesn't earn my own fire rating, but it does earn a big thumbs up from me. You should definitely see it. And if you're a fan of the first one, I really do think you'll like it like I did. So I really do appreciate you guys, all the support you've given me by watching my video like this one, this review. I really appreciate all the support I've gotten from a lot of my new subscribers. You guys rock. So all of you new subscribers and your old ones, please do me a favor, leave me some feedback, thumbs up or thumbs down. I appreciate any feedback. Comment on what you thought about my review of the movie if you've seen it. And don't forget to subscribe. And if you've subscribed already, you know what you need to do. You need to hit that little notification bell. It's easy to do. And you'll be the first to know when I post new pop culture related videos like movie reviews like this one. So well, until next time, boys and girls, this is JeffMan316, your pop culture reporter, signing out saying, you guys be safe out there. Shh. Especially in the theater when you're watching movies, if other people in there, come on, show some respect. Just kidding.